Yo, yo, all you devils out there, happy Friday. 128 for me here. And let's see, I've got, look at Bitcoin, 2 miners, and an exchange today. Mix it up a little bit. So, of course, I'm as thrilled as any to see Bitcoin here pushing 47 and change. Now, though I've got a couple of accounts here to accommodate this a little semi-wacky price action here. Now, before everybody gets completely, sending off for Lambo catalogs, let's just be mindful of where we are, right? So let's just slow your roll a little bit, right? Now, we got to get through that. Once, twice. I'm not saying it's not going to get through. I'm just saying we can understand why that we have such strict resistance here. It's the Elliott is a little squirrely in here. So just a reminder, right? Let's let the market prove it. Ideally we'd want to get through and then come back a little test and then see where we go from there. But encouraging. Right? So let's there's a daily. Let's go to a 4-hour here. Got a couple of counts here we can examine. So here I've got an anchored VWAP from this low. I'm pulling fibs from this low. I guess we can get this one out of here, and just having made that point. So if this indeed is our 2, 3, well, how do we? Bit of a cluster F up here. There is a count that would get this done. You could do it a couple of different ways. To some degree, it depends on the exchange you're looking at. Here on Coinbase, if you look in here, this is a new low, but if you're on Kraken or I'm not sure about Bitstamp or some of the others here, we do not get a new low. So you could count this as 5 into an A. Yeah, you're going to end up in the same spot, right? So you could go A, B, C into an A, or so you could do a flat into it. So you could push the A over here if you wanted to, right? If you were, again, you're going to end up at the same spot, right? Then this would have to be a B. We come down for the C. I think you could do it here. Then you'd have an A, B, C into the B. Well, it really doesn't matter. What can we say here about all this, right? Classic waveform, not progressing the trend, a lot of chop. Now, all of a sudden, we've got trending activity, but boy, is that... Well, if you're an Elliottian, what's the first thing that occurs to you here? Let's here. I've got a couple of. No, that's not what I want. I got a couple of possibilities here. Where did I put them here? Let's look at this one. Okay, so this would be more of a. It's bullish long term, but in the short term, it's bearish. Okay, so let's pull this over here and just take a peek. We got a clear impulse coming off the low. This is already a bit of a. It's not gorgeous, right? But let's go with the C. Right? If you had to pick, you'd lean into something emotive. I'll say it that way. It's ugly, but it's likely not a corrective structure here. So coming off of this low, clean 5. Now it sure does look like I go into a triangle here. A triangle B. Just ripped for a C. Well, if that were the case, then we'd have to be, let's draw it. All right, this would be A, B, C into a W. Let's keep it going. A, B, C into an X, right? W, X. You'd be looking for the Y down here, somewhere in a more typical wave 4 location. Now, one of the things this is doing, Ham, I think most Elliottians looking at this, hang on, damn it. I think most Elliottians looking at this had the same challenges I did, right? Kind of calling this, how would I do it? Putting the 4 here, right? Thinking, 3, 4, 5, and here's the 4. Well, let's back up here on 8, will do it. It's the length of the 2, right, compared to this. Now, this helps a little bit. Where we would take an A, B, C, where we're getting a little bit, it's still not great, right? So you're comparing, I've done this a couple of times, right? All of this to, depends how you do it, right? So, I mean, here, if I just do it on length of time here, and I just have to include all of that, it gets better, right? So as opposed to this, right, correcting that. So as I've talked about couple of times last few weeks, it just wasn't enough, right, in terms of the time relationship. Now, there is no obligation ever for the market to do anything, right? And anything to fit some Elliott count or bullish narrative or whatever the case may be. Market's going to do what the market's going to do. We're just trying to say, okay, where can I anticipate that I might have, right? And this is all you're ever going to get, right? So get used to it. That I might have a slight edge. Where in here you're going to have a slight edge? Well, it's tricky, right? So the couple of things we can see. Oh, we could probably just use a little something like this, right? So this liquidity down here has been swept. Now we haven't quite gotten here yet, but you could certainly see a case where, oh, okay, if they're gonna, I'm just gonna use something like this. If they're gonna come up here and sweep that, right? Just you know, there's right. Everybody on the planet knows their stops there. Period. Everybody knows it, right? So you could see a little push up here. Now, of course, what the breakout trader is always thinking is, oh, those stops are going to be fuel for me to go, right? Well, it could happen. Definitely could happen. More likely, that's a place where you'd want to be very, very careful about entering the market because those stops, right? Then we do something like that, right? That's what you might anticipate, and why. I'm to the point where it's almost comical here. I'm right at the edge of the channel here. You know that's not an area I would recommend anybody buy. If anything, I wouldn't necessarily short it either, right? And I'd have to get something like this, right? Come here. We'd have to go up, down, and then come back and then fail, and perhaps you left a demand, or excuse me, some supply up here, something, or there's some fair value gap, something here that would suggest market doesn't need to go up here and sweep this liquidity. It's going to come back for external to internal, maybe come down here to some of this, and then we go. That, we're always, it's a estimate of what you might anticipate based on seeing this, 2 million times before. Here's a fairly good example of it right here, right? So as we came back up here, right down. Now we're coming back to it, right? So anyone who, if you didn't get stopped out here, leverage traders here all got bent over there. Now, right, can you see the exact same thing happening here? A little bit, and I'm not making a prediction. I'm just saying in terms of where you might enter, right? So if you're itching to get long, God, don't. My strong suggestion would be don't do it there. Let it go, let it come back. Right? I think I've drilled that home enough. Now, so there's the. I know, right? It's hard to think with your bearish hat on here with all the bullish macro and. Oh God, what has BlackRock's got? I don't know. They're hitting new records in terms of equity flows into the Bitcoin ETFs. You got Michael Saylor doubling down. I mean, there's a lot of bullish sentiment and a lot of just macro pieces to the puzzle here that would make you want to be bullish. So then the question becomes, okay, well, am I trying to enter with precision? Am I just going to go, oh, fuck it, who cares, right? I'm just going to buy it, right? If I'm buying at 47, if it's going to be at 147 in 3 years, do I care if I get it at 47 or 42? Maybe, right? It's a question of, are you trading with leverage? Are you looking for an ideal entry? If you don't give a shit, why are you watching this video? Right. So the idea would be to look for a better location for entry rather than at the highs. So now let's see. Now can we right? Let's suppose this is all wrong. We just keep going, right? So certainly we've got to consider that possibility. Well, if we're all wrong about this, how could this play in a bullish fashion? Hang on. Let's look at a bullish count. Oh, let's see. What is this? Group 1. I got to make those go away. Let's go to group 2. Okay, how could we do it? I mean, it's there. Again, you've got the 5 here, so you'd be parking the 4 over here. So this as we were just showing here, this gets a little better in terms of time relative to the 2. It's a little bit better, right? So A, B, C, I can get that done. Now we're coming out of here is this 1, 2. Well, it would have to be, right, if it's not going to be a triangle, it doesn't leave you a lot of choices. 1, 2, 1, 2. 3, 4, 5, right? Seeking the 3rd. 3 is in. 4 is in. We're off into the 5th, right, from this low. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wacky up here. No doubt, right? Off for the 5. New all-time high with that? Well, little, oh, Jesus, is that locked? How did that get locked? It's a little tricky up here to envision how we're going to get there. There, let's pull back to a daily. With this count, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh man, we're going to need a big. We're going to get all the way up here. Yeah, that's your next target, right? We're going to have. There'll be supply up here, right? It's going to have to clear. That's a long way off to 70 from where we're sitting here at 47. Right? Would be one hell of an extension. Well, let's just measure that, just for fun, since we're here. 1, if that's the 4. 200% the length of the 1. Well, we come back for the 3. It was 127, right? Second most common. A little surprised, right? That Bitcoin in this start of its bull run would only get 127, but there it is, right? And so careful about assumptions. But 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would get us more likely a 5 here. What do we anticipate after that? Well, it's right. Nobody wants to talk about this, right? But if we come up here, now we're down talking 37, right? If we're going to come to a traditional, a more common wave 2, if this is going to complete as 5, we're going to get. You could kind of see how we could come back into all of this consolidation. What are we looking for here? 1, 2, 3. Now we go big time, right? That's the big one. Now, do I know that's going to happen? Absolutely not. Is that my primary roadmap? Actually not. I think it's more likely we've got another leg down, but that's just based off of 28, 29 years of trading Elliott Wave here. Now, again, Elliott is always a snapshot in time. That's all it ever is, or it's all it ever can be at one moment, right? So we've just adjusted the count here to accommodate this bullish price action. If this keeps going and we have to change this, well, then you adjust your count, which is why you can't lock and load on one only and say, well, if it's not that, well, then fuck it, right? Nobody knows what they're doing. You can't, right? The market is always right. If we're wrong, right, it's always on us. We as traders, meaning collectively. So you can kind of see all the potential here, all the potential supply zones, not to mention, right, when we started, we still haven't cleared the golden zone. So don't make assumptions, I guess is my point here. Careful about doing that. All right, it all looks good, right? We all want it to go. I'm just trying to be helpful here, not to be a buzzkill. Okay, right. So there's Bitcoin, right? We're going to have to see what happens. Do we sweep the high? I have to give this a little bit more time. Be very interesting. I'm curious to see how we're going to look a week from now. But that's where we sit at the moment. As far as I'm concerned, there is no trade at the moment. Not here. If anything, it would be a short, but it's not something I would do. All right. So that is Bitcoin with an update there. Let me pop over here. I think I've got. Let's go to RIOT now. Here we look at a couple of miners. Now this has a tricky count on it actually. Well, let's. Oh damn it! Hang on. Let's get over to an 8-hour here and get a better look at this. Now RIOT, of course, you have to be. Shit, what was our all-time high here? 2,300, right? So you've got to be in log scale here. The range here is just astonishing, right? It's just crazy range. But of course, swing, retrace. What do we do? Right to the golden zone. A, B, C, pretty clear, right? That does not take a rocket scientist to see what we've done here. So then, okay, now out of the golden zone, what do? Clear 5, right? There's no Elliottician's going to differ with me there, right? It's 5 all day. Now, this is where, right, gets a little subjective, which, okay, so this at first glance, it looks like you've got a 5 here, but you got to see it's a bit of an Elliott shuffle to get this as an ABC into a W, ABC into an X, ABC. See, it's tempting to go think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C into the B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't get it, right? So rather than truncate, I think this is the better solution, right? Now, this is my opinion. It's a technician, one technician to another. You can do it, right? It's not great. It's not. It's a bit of a push here. Now I'm on an 8-hour. I went down to a 15-minute to say, could I get that 3, 4, 5 into a B? it's shaky. And then to come down here for the C, but that's the only way I can get that done, then 3 and 5. Now, you might look at that and say, well, okay, right, so what would be the alternate, right? Oh, that you're going to truncate here? That's last resort, right? So I'll play this until the market forces me to change that. But I think right at the end of the day, what are we trying to say here, right? We're trying to say 3, right? 3, right? If it were down here, we no question what we got here. But now it looks like we're going, right? So that's... we would have, with the sweep here, we would have eliminated the nice look of an impulse here. So that's too big for a decent. I mean, could it roll over and we're calling it a diag? Yeah, but you got a 3 here, no, right? So you're kind of forced into this. It's a compromise. I get it, right? I'm not clueless. Golden zone looks like a little front run here on the 50. We're not to those targets here, but that sure looks like it. Well, of course, you won't know until we see what, if we get up here and we get a 3, what do we get for the 4, right? Can we get a 5 that comes out of here? Well, even if we do, what would you be anticipating here? That we're going to, right? If this is 1, 2, 3, that we're going to go up, way up here? No, probably not, right? So that would be, let's back it up, right? So this would be 1, if this is 2, right? If we're going to hold this as a 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So this is very bullish, right? So having all the same suggestions as to what would be bullish for Bitcoin, right? Potentially it's reflected here in the miners. So for those of you that prefer to trade miners rather than Bitcoin, here's a candidate. It's pretty good. It's not my favorite count, but it's tradable. Maximum risk. If I were doing this here, I wouldn't let it get below this pivot, right? If I was doing any, well, here we're right here, right? So, holy shit. That's a pretty good sell-off here, percentage-wise. If you're buying in here at 14 and you're putting your stop down here at 8, that may be too much for many people. Really a question of how you want to trade it. You want to trade it with options, right? Well, then time's your enemy, right? Are you going to go buy the underlying? It's cheap enough stock you could. So it's something to consider. Oof, man, the allergies are killing me today. Okay, let's get over here. Fortunately, I'd like to. I'm hoping you're not hearing what I'm doing when I mute the mic. Okay, so now I'm over to clean spark. This count I like a little bit better. So, it's a little wacky down here, right? We'd have to call this likely 3, 4, 5, right? So you could work backwards. This got a little funky. I don't know what's going on there, but as to what that was all about, but it almost doesn't matter, right? After we've come all the way back down here, we come all the way back to the little consolidation here. Now we start again. Now it looks like you can do this in a sharp double. ABC W, ABC X, ABC gets us done here for the 2. Okay, now again, it's a little tricky here. Let me zoom in there a little bit. You have to do this as a triangle. 1, 2, 3. There's a little 3, 4, 5 there. A, B, C, D, E. Right. So the E doesn't overlap the pivot of the 1. So even though the A, the C do, as long as the terminus of the E here, right, stays above, we get the 4 in there. Okay, 5. Right. So 1, 2, and it's classic, right? It's consolidation in the 4. We don't progress the trend out, and then we come out of it. You can almost see this, right? Would have been I have it under here. Yeah, squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right now we get a big kick here. So 1, 2. Well, let's see. Right. So what would you anticipate is there? Right? If you just, what have I got in here? There we go. Anybody surprised here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come down in the pocket between the 50 and the golden zone. Now, note I'm in log scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, it's not going to be. Well, I shouldn't say that. Not likely to be the 3. Right, so this would be the 1 of the 3. 1, 2 down to the 50. Right, look how similar these are. 1, 2. Right, likes the 50. And note here the consolidation. Oh, you can damn near do the same thing. We get a little demand right there. Little down, right? So it's probably the SMC heads would call that a decision block, right? So we've got, okay, a little swing around. What are we going to do here? up we go, right? Sweep the high. So we're already sweeping the high of this order block. So potentially this would become a breaker block. So, right. So prior resistance, if we're going to travel up here, right? Potentially this becomes support. That's all a breaker block is, right? Just was resistance, now support. But breaker block is sexier, right? Sounds better. That's good marketing from ICT. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so what have I got here? I got 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, here we go again. You want to be a buyer there? I'm not telling you not to. If you're a breakout trader, good luck. I'm just saying, based on what we teach and my experience, that would be perhaps the single worst place on the chart to buy it. I mean, you know, is there any confusion about whether there are stops right here? Nope. Doesn't mean we can't do this. It's never what I'm saying, ever. Am I ever saying that? I'm just saying, if you're itching to get in, let it come back. Breaker sitting right there, then you can go. If you're thinking, oh, well, if I've got to have, well, why would you be thinking that? If this is 1, 2, well, I got to, if I'm going to get a 3, there's got to be a 1 in that 3, right? All of this can keep going. 1, 2. Well, if it starts to retrace, what's that going to be? Well, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 of the third. It could be 4 of the 1 of the third, right? We don't know, right? So you just have to go with, you could have a monster extension there. Nobody knows, right? We're just, but that's dangerous. Let's just say, that's a dangerous place to go long, right, on the breakout. Oh, what have I got up above? Looks like you're through the golden zone from the pivot, right? So that would be the one positive. Oh, God, are you there? Yeah, well, we don't, Jesus. Let's dial it in a little bit. So on the 1, we go right to the 65. Now here we've got a wick that's gone through here. We're not closed yet, right? Wick has gone through. Here's the 1. Do you see how this is, how the algo dominates here? Here, 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 right? This is just pinging algo, one algo after the next, one to the next. Boom, 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 right? It just, you know, again, I've been teaching this for 5 years, right? It seems, it's almost, I almost feel apologetic to keep showing it. It's like, oh, come on, right? Not this again. Yeah, not again, right? Until the algos are rewritten. If you're not using this, you're resisting for reasons that would not make sense to anyone who has the objective of making money. How about I say it that way? That's as PC as I can make it. I was going to say you're an idiot, but of course I wouldn't say that out loud. Okay, so right, well, this is part of your arsenal. What's next, right? What are we looking for next? What would you hope for? Oh, can I get some sort of an impulse here and then another retrace? Right now, that's the buy, right? Impulse. We buy retrace, right? Where's the money being made here? By the retracement buyers or the breakout traders? You say, oh, what about? Oh, hey, it broke out here, but who made more money? Oh, it broke out here, but what happened next? Retracement. Who's made more money? Oh, it broke out here, but retracement. Right? Again, I could just do that. There's no chart I couldn't show you that. I couldn't do that. Same thing. There's no chart where I couldn't do that. It's always that way. Fight it at your own. But if you're fighting this, right? If you're fighting that in the markets, you're making a donation to other traders, market makers, whomever, right? You will not survive long with that mindset, right? So why fight it, right? Because you're trying to prove something. Listen, I get that. I was that guy for a long time, right? I was very arrogant early in my career, right? Early. I'm like, fuck, I know what's going on here. I see it. I got it. Oh boy, does the market humble you if you come in with that attitude. And I've seen when I was a broker for 10 years, I saw a lot of clients, a lot of smart, successful people come into the market with an attitude like, oh, come on, how hard can this be? I got this. Boy, does the market humble you with that attitude. Okay, I got Bitcoin. We've done RIOT. I've done Clean Spark. Oh, how am I doing? 24? Oh, let's go take a... yeah, well, give me 1 second here. I'll find something for us. Well, I'd probably round it out here with Coinbase, right? So we got Bitcoin, 2 miners, and an exchange. Oh, God, sounds like I know where I'm going to do with that. Okay, so this is equally... Well, here, let's pull out here. I got to pull out here. This is a tricky one. Okay, let me get this one off here. All right, so here's Coinbase. 8 hour, oh shit, daily, it wouldn't matter, right? Okay, so swing. Guys, I cannot make this up. Come on now. Seriously? There's no way you've watched 5 videos of mine and this isn't like the cornerstone of your TA, right? Now, I know when I put some market structure in there, some ICT, but you can't, you can't ignore this, right? You just can't, right? And again, you just, unless you like donating money to other people, to other traders, 1, 2 golden zone, 1, 2, 50, 3, 4, 50. I can't make this shit up, right? Okay, so let's reset that one. 1, 2. Look like the 3? Definitely not, right? So here, this is a classic. This is where Elliott has an advantage over any other approach. And believe me, I'm in a very, very deep dive of market structure, ICT, SMC, right? So it's all, I'm in a very deep dive on that because that's the brown belt. How do we combine these two? But here's where Elliott has such a clear advantage, which is why I don't care how popular ICT and SMC trading is. There are times, charts like this, where the Elliott just gives you a huge advantage you can't get with those other techniques, which is why, right, we recommend the blend. 1, 2, right? So that's not going to be 3. Now, if I'm not applying Elliott Wave to this, all I see is, break a structure. Right, I get no projection. I have no sense of where that might go. I just see, I broke structure. Well, okay, right, straight out of the SMC playbook. Well, after a break of structure, what am I anticipating? Retrace, right? Oh, got another break of structure. What am I anticipating? Right now, okay, well, that's all fine and well. But we as Elliotticians, right, using both of these, we get projection levels here that can guide us. My view is you're going to make better trading decisions. If this is 1, 2, well, that's not 3. And this is 1, 2. Is that 3? Well, it could be 3. Hang on. Could be 3. It's not as far as you might have liked it, right? If you're looking for pure Elliott swing structure. In terms of targets, well, we're just in, here, no, I'm in log scale. Right, let's take it out here. Well, if I take it out of log scale, right? So these become a little sloppy down here. Now look at my range here. It's from 22 to 180. I mean, good rule of thumb is if you're 3-4 times the initial the range you're looking at, you gotta go to log scale, right? If I don't do log scale, okay, well, I've got a little liquidity sweep down here where wicks are getting through the golden zone. When you can see what they're doing right here, they're just sweeping the low there. Damn it, hang on. Sorry. Okay, so they're just sweeping the low here. So 1, 2, right? So here's first algo target. Now this is when I'm in arithmetic. 1, 2, golden zone. So I push up here, golden zone. Now, if I keep it here, they're 50s. If I go to arithmetic, they're golden zones. Come here, get out of there. They're golden zones. Again, how is that not? How could that not be the first thing you put on your chart? I mean, I don't care what else you're putting there. You got to know what this thing did last. You have to know. Well, if this is 1, 2, again, I can't make this shit up. Where's the highest probability location for 3? 1618, 175. Where do we go? We literally split it. Now you look at that and say, whoa, that's a deep retrace for a 4. Yeah, it is. But look at the precision here. And if you think this is random, I don't know if I can help you. Okay, right. So let's see how I have to move that. I might have to move that. Okay, so if I put that right, use the magnet, get it right there. Oh shit! Here I'm gonna have to move this to make my point here. That's a big buildup. That's the line right there, right here. It's spared by like 2 ticks. 2 ticks. You think that's random? Then we're not going to overlap that one there? I'm afraid you're mistaken. So let's come back here. Let me just do this to get it all back to where we were. I think that does it. Yeah. Okay. So 1, 2, 1, 2. What do I have now? Golden corner. Right. I had a golden corner here as well, right? So I cannot make up. Oops. Can't make this up. 80% probability that we get there. That's why I draw those to your attention, right? 80% odds. Wait a minute. You're telling me I got 80% odds as long as we don't take this pivot? 80%? Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. What? I shouldn't phrase it that way. I don't want to take credit for this. That's Alan Andrews telling you that. I just added the golden zone. That's Alan Andrews, not me. Right? Most of what I teach, very little that I teach other than something I just modified slightly, like putting a 65 on it. This is not my discussion. The same here, right? That's David Halsey, right? I just put the 65 on it because I kept seeing the 618 get broken by 2, 3, 4, 5 ticks, and then the market go on and carry on and hit the targets. Golden corner, 80%. Now, what does that mean? Right? Well, wait a second. But if I had 80% here, are you telling me that I've got 80% again here? Nope. That's what Alan Andrews is telling you. I've just traded it for so long that I'm going to chime in on that and say yes. Now, the tricky part of this, the discount here is I get that out of here. Hang on, damn it. It's the 4 is tricky, right? It's a little bit of a shuffle to get it done, right? So swing, retrace, right? Now algo doesn't care about the Elliott count, right? We know that. But can we? Oh, let's see. Let's go to. Can we get it done? I'm down to a 60-minute. Oh, it's brutal. 1, 2, you got to go 1, 2. It's barely there. 3, 4, 5 of 3 to the 4 to 3. Right. So, because you're trying to get this done here, how can I get this done? The only way you can do it here, and it's as far as I can say, right? A, B, C. Right. I do have a good C here. Right, but it's easy to think, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then this would be part of the B, right? So we can't eliminate this because this is a little bit of an Elliott shuffle, right? I'm keying off of the technical reaction at the golden zone and the fact that we don't overlap the 1. And can I make this fly? Well, right, if Bitcoin's going to go, right? So now think of this, right? If Bitcoin's going to fly, then maybe this goes with it. If Bitcoin's going to bump its head at the golden zone, and this count potentially could fall apart. But right now, it's so good. Why? I know, right? So I'm going to put it this way. I'm going to trade this. Now, this came up. Somebody was asking for this the other day on our live stream here. So we're a little bit, I think that was this day here. It was like 2 days ago. It was on Wednesday when we do our live streams. So I'm bringing this to your attention because not everybody sees those live streams. But if this is going to be 1, 2, well, then I'm interested right here because I'm already a little bit ill at ease with this as a 3. Oh, here, just to draw it, right? And everybody can do this, right? You can see how that could be a 5, right? It's hard not to see it, right? So then you go, oh, God, is there any way I can get that into an ABC? Because if it is an ABC and this is going to go, oh, it's so good. Well, now if Bitcoin hits its head up here at that golden zone again, as we just looked at, and we get a little retrace, you might anticipate that everyone we're looking at here today might retrace in sympathy with that. Again, market's never under any obligation to do anything, right, that we would like it to do, but we're just kind of looking and say, well, if this push up here. Oh, here, let's get that out of there. All right, well, we can see, here, let's just use this fair value gap here. We can see, oh, okay, well, shit, you could call that supply. If we're going to push up into here and get a 1, 2, right, if that's going to go 1, 2, well, of course, what would give you a little more confidence in taking that? If I can get the 2 right here, right, because then my stop's here, so I'm going to go golden to golden. That I like. And if it gets here, now you could trade this in options. Well, it's an expensive stock, right? So you might, I don't know, how much money do I want to put? How many shares do I want to buy? Well, if you want a little more leverage, right, use some options, right? You get 100 shares. But, right, then you're fighting the clock, right? So the second if you're long. Now you could sell some put premium down here. I wouldn't do it naked, but you could sell some put credit spread down here away from the market. You could do it right underneath the 65 because if this comes down here and takes that out, right, trade's invalidated. But you could trade here and say, oh, okay, well, if I sell, maybe you sell the 110, 100, or 105, right? It depends on your risk tolerance and your comfort level with options. But you could sell a put credit spread down here to offset the cost of paying for a call spread or just a call, right, if you want open-ended potential. It's one way you might do this, but this is a little bit, right? You have to be very aware that this is a bit of a shuffle to get this to play. So, but it's so technically good. It's so good, right? It'd be worth, I wouldn't go heavy with it because of that, but I'd take a bite at it there. And as with all things option related, there has to be you have to make an agreement, a rock solid agreement with yourself that if it breaks the 65, you are getting out. you're going to close it and take the loss, right? It's the number one problem with option traders because they don't have to, right? If there's more time on the option, you say, well, let's just see what happens. For 10 years, I watched people do that, right? So I'm adamant about not doing it myself and being sure that people know that that is the big risk. As soon as you go into the options market, time is your enemy. And the fact that you don't have to get out, right, makes it too easy to hurt yourself. All right, that should probably cover us. Let's put this back in the log one more time. It cleans up the measured moves here a little bit, right? So we get golden zone, 50, 50 to the tick. Heads up, right? Heads up, right? So we come all the way back to, okay, what are we doing up here, right? Can we go up and sweep that high? And can we bust and close? What we want to see, because that's what the algo will need to see. We need a close beyond the 65, right? That's so, right? If we can come in Monday and see a close, well, shit, what do we got here? So 50,250, right? We need to see a close up here. 51 would do it, right? So where you say, okay, right, this algo is dead, right? Defeated. Now, slow down though, because that people say, oh, does that mean? God damn it! It doesn't mean it goes short here. Just clarify here. How many newcomers? That does not mean it goes short. Or excuse me, it goes long here, right? If we break it, they don't reverse and go long. They won't go long again until we see this. Now, if we come back, they'll go long again. Right here, I can just draw it up for you. That's what they do, right? They'll do it. They'll do this. Well, that's pretty good for a free draw. I have been drawing this for a long time, right? That's when they'll buy it, right? They'll wait for. What is it that we teach, right? That I'm trying to teach you, right? You wait. You let this go. You wait for the retrace. That's what the algo is going to do. So you're saying you think you know better than the algo, or you, oh no, I'm going to take the breakout. And then I'm going to sell it down here. But this is the fantasy, right? So many, oh, well, I would take it long here right off of the breakout. And then, of course, I would short it and then I would take it long again. Okay, all right. Send me your charts with your P&L on that when you do that. Okay, guys, that's all I got. There's 37, right? I probably did more than I needed to. Okay, guys, so that should give you a few things to chew on. As always, right? Just, always come visit us in our Discord. Right? It's free to join. Kick around, see what some of the other members have to say, see if it's a good fit for you. All right, guys, have a good weekend. I'll catch you next week.